What's going on, everyone? My name is Maximilian, and today we're going to learn how to get up different style obstacles. And to do that, we're going to do a wheel lift. Two different ways you can do it. I'm going to show you both. To start with, you want to find a fairly small obstacle, something like this, or even smaller perhaps, maybe a curb is a really good one. Something that you're very confident rolling into at a slow speed and lifting your front wheel up. So the two ways you can lift your front wheel up, one is going to be pushing off the suspension and pulling the handlebars to your chest. The other one is we're going to do a half pedal into the obstacle, and on the final part of the pedal, we'll use that pedal stroke to actually lift the front wheel up and onto the ledge. Once that front wheel gets onto the ledge, just here, we're gonna sort of lunge our body forward and push the bike forward as well. And what that effectively is gonna do is bring the bike up and allow that back wheel to lift up over the ledge. So we're gonna come in, front wheel's gonna be here, and we're gonna push forward, and the bike's gonna roll up. So let me show you technique one. I'd start on the flat to begin with, and we're just gonna do a basic wheel lift. You can even use cracks in the pavement, like something like this, and that's gonna give you an option to work with the timing. So to start with, we're just gonna do some wheel lifts, and then we're gonna add in an obstacle in front of you so you can work on your timing to make sure you can lift on command. So that's gonna look a little bit like this. Push off, pull. Push off, pull. Really try to pull the bars up to your chest. Look at what you're gonna hop over. Just like that. Okay, so once you feel pretty comfortable with those wheel lifts on command, we're gonna add some obstacles and work with the timing of it. So you can see here on the pavement, we got some lines here. You can put a stick, you can put anything you want that you're not too worried about running over. And the idea is that you wanna hop your front wheel, pull it over the obstacle each time. So we're gonna do 3 here. Nice. And we're gonna do 3 here in a row, work with our timing, and then we're gonna take it over to the next obstacle over there. So it's gonna look a little bit like this. So go over the crack. Cool. All right, so once you're feeling comfortable with that, the other option is to use a half pedal stroke to actually initiate the wheel lift. This is something I use most of the time. For me, it really helps with timing. Also, when you're starting to go uphill and bigger obstacles, I think it helps create more momentum as you get close to the obstacle. And that's really useful when you start to get to bigger obstacles and keep things rolling. So what we're gonna do, I'm right foot forward. So I'm gonna come into it with my left foot forward. As I get close, I'm gonna do a little half pedal stroke. It's gonna pop that front wheel up. I'm gonna pull a little bit as well just to help with that, and we're gonna go over the obstacle. So we'll do the same thing, 1, 2, 3, we'll do the half pedal. So you come in, opposite foot forward, little pedal, little pedal. Okay, so something to really think about when you're doing the front wheel lifts is what's going on with your back wheel and your feet. And you wanna be trying to bring the back wheel up so it doesn't actually hit into the face of the wall or rock or log, whatever you're getting onto. The way you do that, as you lunge forward to bring the bike up, if you look at the feet here, I'm going to actually kind of scoop my feet a little bit onto the pedal, and that allows it to grip and pull the back wheel up with it. So same as the front wheel lift drill we did, we're going to go along, just practice some rear wheel lifts, and then we're going to add some cues from a timing standpoint to make sure we lift our back wheel over on command. And then you just add the two together on the ledge and you should have your technique. So let's give it a shot. So we're just gonna practice getting it up. So lunging forward, scooping with our feet. No brakes being pulled during this. Okay, so once that's feeling pretty good, we're gonna start to add some obstacles for us. Again, we got the cracks in the concrete here. Really helps dial in the timing, making sure we can lift that wheel on cue. So let's give it a shot, same way, coming forward, scooping the feet and lifting the back up each time. All right, so we got the first obstacle here. Back wheel up and over. Scoop, lean forward, scoop, lean forward, scoop. So once you feel very comfortable with that and you got your front wheel, then you can add a drill in where you add both of them. So you lift your front wheel over the crack, lift your back wheel over the crack, or the twig or the log, whatever you put on the ground to work for a little obstacle. So let me show you what that looks like. So what we're going to work on this drill is lifting our front wheel over the crack and then the rear wheel. So we're going to come in, nice slow speed, front wheel, rear wheel, front wheel, rear wheel, front wheel, rear wheel. So once you're feeling real comfortable with all those 3 drills, then you're going to take it to the next one, which is either going to be a curb or a ledge like we have over here. And we're just going to apply those techniques to the wall. Once you're feeling really good with that, figure out which technique you prefer. Some people prefer just lifting it up without the pedal stroke. I personally really like the half pedal stroke. That's how I get up most obstacles. So pick which one you prefer, and then you're going to step it up to the next height. So what I've got here is probably a little over a foot, and we're going to do the same technique, come in at a nice slow speed. You don't want to go too fast, because the faster you go, the less time you have to react to everything and to get the timing right. So slowing things down is really going to help make sure you get the timing right. And we're going to lift the front wheel. As soon as it taps the edge of the wall, we're going to lunge forward and push the bike forward. And the two things are going to help keep the momentum rolling forwards and bring the back wheel up as we start to go forwards. Scoop the feet a little bit on the pedals. That's going to help lift the back wheel up as you go over. But I would say to start with, maybe try something a little bit smaller like a curb. Consequences are a little bit low if you don't get the time right. With these big wheels, it will just roll straight over the curb. So start with the curb and then work your way up, and I'll show you what it looks like. We'll do both techniques. So we'll do the wheel lift without a pedal stroke, and then we'll do the half pedal wheel lift option as well. Like I said, do whatever feels easiest or nicest for you, and we'll give it a shot. So we're coming in nice and slow, wheel lift, pop, and push forward. So one thing to think about, it's pretty tempting to want to pull your brakes once you get up here, but really try and avoid doing that. It's going to allow you to have more momentum and keep that bike rolling forwards. And these sorts of obstacles, especially when you get out onto the trail, it's a little bit rougher, maybe it's uphill, really keeping that momentum makes such a difference. And so we want to stay away from our brakes if possible, but always keep one finger over each lever just in case you need to pull it. So that's going to be the option without the pedal stroke. Now let's show you the half pedal stroke and see what that looks like. So now we're going to work on the half pedal stroke to help pop the wheel up. Like I said, this is my preferred technique, but go with what feels better. I'm right foot forward, so as I come down this hill here, I'm actually going to have my left foot forward, ready to go for that half pedal to help engage the front wheel lift, tap my front wheel on the wall, and then lunge forward, and the back wheel will just pop right up. Should look something like this. So left foot forward, half pedal, pop, lunge forward.
As we approach the obstacle, you're going to drive down with your feet, which is going to help preload the fork to help bring the front wheel up. As it touches the ledge there, we're going to start driving our way up and forwards and scoop with our feet. This time, approach the wall with your opposite foot forward. We're going to do a half pedal stroke, which will help initiate the front wheel lift. As the front wheel touches the wall, we're going to drive up and forward while scooping our feet. Here, I want you to focus on what the feet are doing. As we've done the half pedal stroke and the front wheel has touched the wall, notice how I'm scooping with my feet to put pressure onto the pedals, and that's going to help lift the rear wheel.
Okay, so once you got over some smaller obstacles, you can start to work on the bigger ones, such as rocks and logs. We've got a good rock right here, maybe about wheel height. It's kind of nice. It's got a smoother entrance to it, so it's not quite as intimidating. Using the same technique to get over it, and tap the front wheel on the top, lunge your body forwards, release the brakes as you're going to allow the bike to roll, and just be prepared for the other side to push the front wheel down into the ground. Should look a little bit like this. So coming in, tap the front wheel, lunge, push down.
As the obstacles start to get bigger, you'll notice you'll need to be quicker with the timing. So as soon as that front wheel is just touching the rock, I'm lunging up and forwards, off the brakes, and that's really going to help me keep my momentum as I roll over the rock. If you're interested in in-person coaching, I'm a professional mountain bike coach and offer private one-on-one and small group coaching, as well as skills clinics. For more information, check out the website.
Okay, so once you're feeling really good on the small and the medium ledges, you can start to work towards the larger ledges. Something like this looks pretty tall. you'd be surprised how high you can get up an obstacle using the technique we just talked about. So I'm going to show you one here. As you can see, as soon as this front wheel's getting there, I'm lunging up and forwards, pushing the bike onto the ledge there. We're just going to roll off and then hop off the ledge. So again, looks pretty vertical, but actually works surprisingly well. And I'm sure, as you can imagine, on the trail, this can really open up a lot of terrain that you can check out. And I think it's one of the best skills to really elevate your riding. So let's check it out. So you're going to come in to start with. You're going to keep it at a relatively slow pace, helps with the timing.
So you'll notice on the bigger ledges, you're going to have to drive down with your feet and do a half pedal stroke at the same time to really bring that front wheel up. Again, as soon as that front wheel has tapped the wall, we're lunging up and forwards. So here's an example of the type of features you might find on a trail that this technique will really help to unlock. So I want you to focus on the suspension of the bike here. Notice how much I'm preloading the bike by driving my feet through the pedals during this half pedal stroke. Then as my front wheel touches the top of the rock, I'm going to lunge my body upwards and push the bike forwards. And that's going to help bring the bike up and onto the rock there. So here we have the line backwards. The tough part about this one, if you notice on that first rock, there's a gap afterwards. So you really got to keep that bike up and moving forwards.
So I hope that helped you out. Like I said, you really want to start on something very small and then gradually work your way up and figure out which one works for you. Do you prefer to do the half pedal stroke? Do you prefer just to lift the front wheel up? Also finding something with maybe some rounded edges or something that's wooden to start with, so you don't worry quite so much about hitting the cranks or the frame. I always run aluminum cranks, and so I really don't mind if I hit into them, but if you're running carbon cranks, start with something wooden perhaps, just to give you some protection there. And yeah, just honestly just takes a lot of practice, but it really unlocks a lot of features on trails. It's a really useful skill in places like Sedona and Moab, where there's a whole bunch of shelves, a bunch of rocks. It really opens up the terrain that you can ride on. And it's also just going to help you carry more momentum too. The more you can focus on getting your front wheel and your rear wheel up onto obstacles versus just lifting the front and bashing the rear in, it's going to make a big difference. I think it's just a super beneficial skill on a variety of terrain. Doesn't have to be on trail. You can be in an urban environment and practice. Like I'm just here in a park and there's a bunch of ledges and obstacles. Really good place to practice. So yeah, get out, give it a shot. Let me know in the comments how you get on, if you have any questions and what other skills you'd like to learn. Thanks so much.